Mhm.
Hello everyone. I have with me Miss Mehul Smriti Raje. She is a student of Vision AB Award winner, and at present she is a graduate research assistant at MIT Media Labs. She'll be here with us for the next 30 minutes to share her experiences. Hello Mehul.
Hi, Mridula. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
Okay.
Thank you for inviting me on your channel.
Yeah, it's a pleasure.
Mhm.
So, can you give a brief introduction about yourself?
So hi guys. My name is Mehul. Uh, I'm a graduate student at Harvard School of Engineering. I'm doing a master's in computational science and engineering. And as part of my graduate requirement, I'm pursuing a thesis. And for the thesis, my lab is at MIT Media Lab. So I'm at the Fluid Interfaces Lab at MIT. So yeah, that's a little bit about me.
Great, great. So first thing that I got to know about you is that you are a student of Vision AB Award winner.
Right.
Did you nominate yourself or you were nominated by someone else?
So I nominated myself, and I filled up the form, made up the video, finished all the requirements. So I'd seen the announcement on one of the mailing lists by Abby, and so following that announcement, I decided to nominate myself. Yeah.
Okay. So what was your thought process while filling in the application, the essay questions and all?
So I was, so it was quite retrospective. It was very introspective also, the whole application process. And I think what I thought was that I had seen the previous award winners, and I figured that I had also been doing similar kind of work. So I basically just wanted to, try my luck, and I thought that maybe I'm a good fit for that award. So that was my thought process behind that, and so I decided to apply following that thought. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
After the initial application process, was there
Mhm.
a telephonic interview or so?
So no, I didn't have an interview. It was mostly like the application was completely web based, so I had to write my essays, and then I focused more on the video aspect of it. So another thing that really excited me about the award was that it had a video entry, which was very new to me. So I never applied for any kind of award or any other thing, scholarship or anything with a video. So I think that was something that was very unique and very exciting for me because I have some interest in like film editing and stuff. So yeah, so based on that, I applied, and yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
got
saw
it.
your video. It was really impressive.
Thank
The
you, thank you so
yeah,
much.
the creativity and all. It's hats off.
Thank you. I'm glad you liked it.
Yeah, yeah, no one will not like it.
That's very
What
sweet.
do you think was the biggest milestone in your so far career that helped
Mhm.
you get this award?
So the biggest milestone, I would say, I think at the time that I started WTM in Manipal, there wasn't too much going on about, we didn't really have any communities centered around women technologists. So at that time, I remember one of my seniors, so we already had a GDG Manipal community. So one of my seniors from there, he told me that we were starting WTM. So that was the time that very few WTM chapters were there around the world. So he knew that I had an interest in getting more girls and more women involved in tech in general. So he gave me that idea, and I think just setting it up and starting from scratch and kind of developing an interest of other women in this new thing at that time. A lot of people didn't understand why we needed to do something like that, and of course now it has grown a lot, and there are a lot more communities than there used to be. So I think at that time, and this is like almost 4 5 years ago, so setting it up at that time was like, it was exciting also, but it was challenging also because we didn't really have anything like that at the time in Manipal. We had a computer science club, we had GDG, but having a separate women technicals which kind of focuses just on bringing more girls to that main platform. So I think just the fact that I set it up, and we did the first few events in my time, so I think that whole thing was very exciting to me. And I remember one of my events, we had about 35 girls which was a big deal at that time. So that was very exciting, just like planning everything and like putting it in action and garnering that kind of interest. And I remember the first event that we had. I actually personally went and invited all the girls who had actually come and messaged them and kept messaging them that you have to come for this event. So I think just that whole process was very interesting and very exciting to me. So I think in that WTM career journey, I think that was my biggest milestone. Yeah.
So when I went through your LinkedIn profile, I
Hmm.
found one of the listings in the honors section. That was
Right.
first female brain in Bihar.
Yeah.
It's really an honor. Can you elaborate about it?
Okay, so I remember I was in, we had just started 11th standard. So you know how in 11th, you kind of start in June because your board exam results come out by the end of May or something. So this competition was just happening, and I had given it one time previously when I think I was in ninth or 10th. And that was like the first, second, the first 2 or 3 times it had already happened. And this time, we got invited, and it was just like, I went to school and we just gave that we used to have this preliminary test. And then based on that test, they would shortlist a bunch of people from each school, and they would invite us all to like this big hall in Patna. And we had to, so then again, we had another written round there in in that one hall, all these students would be sitting, and we had that second round. And then based on that second round, they selected 6 people in total, and then we all had to go on stage and compete for the title of Brain of Bihar. So I remember the first round I cleared, and I had coaching the same day. So I was planning to not go for the second round because I thought that these kind of competitions, it's just like another competition, and like I have to focus on IIT and stuff like that. So I thought that I'll not go, but my dad said that no, you should go because you don't these kind of competitions are good for assessing yourself as well, and it'll be something different than what you are doing every day. So he encouraged me, he pushed me a little bit, so I ended up going. And then I cleared the second round also, and then finally I was on stage. And I remember there were two. One was the inter school contest, and there was one individual contest. So in the inter school one, there was me and there was another girl from, I think she was a couple of years younger than me. So someone had to be from plus two and one had to be from like ninth and 10th or something like that. So there were two of us. So in that in the school one, we came second. And then after that, you had the individual, and I was like really surprised because I hadn't prepared for it. So it was completely impromptu, and I was not even planning to go. So I hadn't really put too much effort into it. But the school one was, it was a lot of trivia, but then it was also like some general knowledge, some trivia. There were a lot of math questions. I remember math and logical puzzles, like the ones that you get asked for in your placement interviews and things like that. So we had all those logical puzzles. So when we won the school one, then I became a little bit more confident. And then finally, in the individual one, I remember it was very cutthroat. And there was me, there was one more girl from another school, and there was a guy. So there were three of us in the end. And it was really just like one question plus minus kind of a thing. And then in the end, there was just two of us. The two girls were remaining. So there was me and there was another girl. And it was, I remember this very clearly because it was very interesting. So it was some kind of relational questions. So things like, if I go 40 meters left and then turn right and take 30 meters, and then how far am I from distance and in what direction? So that kind of questions were being asked. I remember the final question that I was asked was that what are the different units of measuring temperature or something like that. And I remember I had read Dan Brown's one of the Dan Brown's, I think, the Lost Symbol. I had read that book at that time, and I remember very distinctly that at one point in the book, Robert Langdon is running through whatever the clue he was trying to solve, and he had recounted all these different temperature measurements. And I instantly remember, I had just read it like the last week before that, and I instantly remembered that there was this another metric which I didn't know of. So that's what they were looking for in the answer. So I answered that immediately, and I remember that's the answer that helped me win that contest. So I think it was very memorable and very interesting. It was a lot of fun. And then they gave me like this big trophy and everything. I was just like really surprised. And my dad was like, it's because of me, because I pushed you and you were not even planning to go and things like that. So yeah, but at that time, I was the only girl to have won it. I think it was the fourth time that it was happening or something. and before me only boys had won it. So that was the first time that a girl had won it. So in the newspaper they printed it like that. So yeah, it's a fond memory.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Dan Brown books are awesome. Even I am a fan of it.
True. Very, very knowledgeable as well. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So now you are at Harvard,
Yeah.
pursuing your PG. So
Mhm.
how did you get in there? Like, was it through the GRE or a scholarship or something like that?
So I gave the GRE, I gave the TOEFL, and then I applied to a bunch of other universities also. So I was looking for programs that are primarily machine learning centric and also like research centric, because these were the areas that I was primarily looking for in my master's program, because I didn't get enough research opportunities when I was in my undergrad, and I really wanted to do that just to see what that experience is like. So yeah, that's how I applied and I got in. So I didn't apply, I mean there wasn't any scholarship. I got scholarships later when I entered college, but at that time I applied through GRE and TOEFL.
Okay. Do you have any guidelines for the applicants who also want to pursue their degree in abroad foreign universities?
I think there are a couple of factors that people need to keep in mind. One is, of course, the finances. So only look at universities which you think. So of course, like once you come here and you get a job and on campus, off campus, it's not that tough to manage. But initially, when you're leaving the country, it's always a big question, because whichever college you go to, they will ask you to like certify for whatever amount they are asking for. So one of the major considerations is finances. So only shortlist universities that offer scholarships or offer some teaching fellowships and things like that, and discuss with your parents how much they are willing to invest, how much you can put in, because it's a very expensive process. Even the application process is quite expensive. And contrary to what people think, I suggest that the exams you can take just once, and I think if you prepare well enough, it's I mean, I only gave all my exams just once. I didn't go back repeatedly. So try to give it once, because it saves a lot of money. And one more advice that I would like to give is that shortlist your universities based on what your interests are. So if you're looking at a specific kind of program, look for similar programs everywhere. So like figure out what you want to be studying before you actually apply, because the one way is to apply to 20, 30 universities and then wait to get acceptances. But then again, like each university that you apply to, it's like $100 or something application fee. I mean, up to the max, it's kind of like 100, 200. But it's just like it's a lot of money. So I mean, be very clear in your mind what you want to study and look for programs like that. And I also say this because once you enter the program, it's easy. It'll be easier for you if you know what you want to be doing, because there are lots of options to study, and you don't want to be confused at that point. So my biggest advice is that be clear in your head what you want to be doing and then only apply. And if it takes like 1 year, 2 year of work to figure that out, that's perfectly fine. I mean, I have people in my program who have worked for 10 years and then they've come to do a master. So that's not a such a big thing. It only seems like a big thing when you're in college, but I mean, it's okay to take some time off and figure out what you really want to be doing. So yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
What's a typical day at Harvard?
Um, a typical day would probably be, so if I have classes, then sometimes one semester I had classes from 8 a.m. So my first class used to be at 8:30. So not at 8, but at 8:30. So I used to get up around like 7:30 for that, and then go to class. I had tried to have breakfast, but mostly not, and then come back and we always get assignments. So try spend some time on assignments and stuff, and then do some lab work. Try to fit in some time for just taking a walk and things like that. Try to stay off coffee too much. So these are like typical things that I do. And now this semester, uh, since the past semester, the last semester I was teaching, so I had to spend some time every day grading papers or like making assignments and things like that. And this semester is mostly research work, so I spend most of my time either in lab or in some of the libraries or at home, just like working on my thesis and stuff. So I mean, yeah, a typical day is mostly spent like trying to get through assignments and things like that. Yeah.
So when you work as a research assistant, we
Mhm.
get stipends, like right, monthly stipends. So that would not be sufficient for paying the fees and all.
Yes, it depends on how well funded your lab is, of course. So, you can get enough. I mean, depending on, honestly, depending on your research interest, and you'll pick a lab accordingly. So, depending on how well funded your lab is, your stipend might vary. But yeah, I think that is quite enough, because even when I used to work as a teaching fellow last year, my monthly stipend was quite enough to, it sufficed to get through my monthly expenses and stuff like that. For tuition, is like, tuition again depends on the college that you go to. So it's, I would say it's, I mean, I got a few scholarships, so I got through it without too much hassle. But yeah, if you don't have scholarships, it might be a little bit difficult. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is the difference that you noted between Indian education system and education
Mhm.
system in foreign universities?
Um, I think from my own experience, the courses here were a little bit more thorough, and also, like, every concept that you're taught, there is an assignment or some kind of practical experience that is attached to it. So I am taking mostly machine learning courses. So whatever uh, new techniques that I would learn, we are always like given some kind of homework or project work to match that, and to give you not just theoretical but also like practical experience for that. So I think that was the biggest difference. There, it's more, in India, I feel like it's a little bit more exam centric. Here, it's very much distributed. So of course, like in India, also used to feel that, if you study for a period at the end of the semester, that was quite sufficient to get through most of the curriculum. But here you have to be very regular, because if you're not regular, you'll miss out, like you lag behind. So that is the biggest difference, that you have to put in continuous effort. And the second difference is that, of course, the curriculum is quite different, in the sense that practical and theory are quite equally balanced. So that's the difference that I find.
So is it more stressful there than in India, or what do you think?
Mhm. I think I think even in when I was in India, I always used to. I think the stress doesn't come from external sources. The stress is very much internal. So I mean, it depends on how much stress you take. So even when I was in India, I think I was always like, I'm the kind of person who's always doing something, or like stressing over something. So even there, I used to like keep doing something or the other, or like doing some project or trying to learn something. So all of that used to keep me like stressed in a balanced way. Of course, the curriculum is a little bit more stressful here. I definitely feel that the curriculum is more stressful here, because, as I said, you have to continuously work at getting a good grade or like doing well in that subject. So yeah, in India, the curriculum wasn't that stressful, according to me. Yeah.
Yeah. So anything that you wanted to do but you
Mhm.
couldn't do, unfortunately,
In
during your
Harvard.
college life, or no,
Okay.
in college life, your Harvard, anything.
I think something that I know from school, um, something that I wish I had spent more time, a little bit more time in like extracurricular activities. So now I realize that you need to balance your day and have some kind of exercise or some kind of extracurricular in your day to kind of keep the stress levels balanced. Now I know that, but when I was in school, I had known that, or I wish I had actually implemented that, because I think it would have saved me a lot of stress. And that's something that I wish I had done. But yeah, I mean, so whoever's listening, like, if you're good at academics, but like whatever you're working hard at your academics, just make sure that even if it's for half an hour, take a walk or like play some game or something, because it goes a long way. Like, it's not just about being good at something, it's also good, it's also important to sustain that whatever you have achieved. So I mean, in order to sustain it for a long time, you need to keep your life balanced, otherwise you're going to get burned out really quickly. So that's something that I've learned in my life. Yeah, it's an important lesson. Yeah.
So this now you're a research assistant. So I
Yeah.
think the course is for 2 years duration.
Mhm.
So
Yes.
after that, you have to return back, or you'll get a job over there itself.
I'm mostly looking at job opportunities here. So I haven't decided yet. I'll decide in the next few months. But yeah, I mean, I plan to. So I have an OPT, which is if you're in a STEM program, you get 3 years of work permit. So I'm probably going to use that, and then whether I'll come back or not, that I'll take a call like once that gets over. So yeah, right now I'm looking at job opportunities. Yeah.
Okay. I also saw that you were a
Mhm.
panelist of Voice of America
Yeah.
and UN CSW 62. How
Yeah.
did you achieve to manage all this? So, how
So
did
I
you
think
manage to achieve all this?
so Voice of America. So when I was at the Grasshopper keynote in 2017, I think a lot of people heard me, and they liked what I was talking about, and I think a lot of people liked the fact that being young, I had done a lot of things, and so I think that's how Voice of America happened. They contacted me because I was the student of Vision. So they reached out to me and they were like, "This is the," and also because I'm Indian, so they wanted representation from that part of the world as well. So they invited me for their panel, and that happened on one of the days of Grace. I think it happened on the third day of Grace Hopper or something. So that's how that happened, and that was a lot of fun because I mean everybody was from a different part of the world, and we had one panel which was only for like industry experts. So there were all these women from different companies. There was someone from Google, there was someone from Dell. So all these women who are at very high positions. So there was one panel with them, and there was one panel with her students from different parts of the world. So that's how that happened. And again, UN happened because so after my second year in Manipal, I had interned at IIT Bombay, and I had worked on this project called Rural IVRS. So basically, that offered telephonic solutions to farmers to take orders directly from people instead of the orders going through a middleman and corruption flooding in there. Therefore, so I worked on this project, and because the topic for UNCSW's the parallel panels that I was a part of, uh, that was rural innovation and rural tech. So because I'd worked on that project, so um, mm, Brenda, who's the CEO of ABI, she contacted me that because you worked on that project, we'd like you to be on our panel. So that's how I was on that panel. So it was a lot of fun though. I met a lot of people, and there were a lot of women from Africa who had flown in, and they were really passionate about the whole panel because they are trying to like bring all these technologies to their rural communities. So I think that experience was very life changing for me. I didn't know that all these things were happening around the world. So that was a lot of fun.
Okay, that
Yeah.
sounds good.
Yeah.
I also got to know that you're working on personality characterization. Even I'm
Mm-hmm.
working on a similar project.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. What's your progress, and can you elaborate about your project?
So at that time, I think I'm not working so much on it now, but when I did work on that, it was mostly like I'm a little bit into psychology, and I use it in my research now also. But I was just trying to I had taken the 16 personalities test, and I basically wanted to figure out if what people put on social media can actually be used to characterize people's personalities based on the way they write or how they express their emotions and things like that. So yeah, at that time it was like a basic machine learning project that I was trying to analyze Twitter data and all of that. So I would love to know what you're doing as well. So that'll be yeah. I think it's an interesting topic. Personality in general is kind of interesting. I'm not sure if I don't think Twitter is like a good way to assess all of it because something else is that a lot of people don't post. We I only used on my partner, and we only used famous personalities. And the truth about famous personalities is that a lot of times they don't post themselves. So we might be just assessing a team of people's personalities. So that's again very tricky. So I mean, if I knew someone personally or somebody who was tweeting very often, and but of course there's that issue of privacy that you can't take people's data without their consent. So I mean, if I had subjects like that, then I think the study would be much better, and we'd get much better results. But
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
We are also planning to study the tweets, also the
Okay.
avatars and emoticons
Mhm.
that the users use. From
Okay,
that
that's
to get
interesting. Mhm.
yeah, we are using the big five personality characteristics.
Okay, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just
there's some
started.
interesting papers on that. There was one interesting paper that came from a student at Stanford, so maybe you should look it up. And
Yeah,
I think they
sure.
also did one Big Five personality, so that might be interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sure. Thank you.
no problem.
So, as a winding note, what do you
Mhm.
want to tell to the fellow female students so
Mhm.
that they also come up to a level, to a height that you have reached, as a note of inspiration?
Um, I would say that I mean it's tough to be in tech. I don't deny that. I've experienced that, but I think this is a good time to be in tech because a lot of exciting things are happening. And I just want to say that if there are contests held in your university, there are always the same 4 5 people who end up going. So if you are one of them, then continue to go because otherwise there's not going to be any representation, and that's never nice. And if you're not one of the 4 5 of them, then I encourage you to go to these because they're an incredible learning experience. I have made a lot of my projects in hackathons, and when you're put into a room and pushed to achieve something or make something that you've been thinking of for a lot of days, it's a really meaningful and wonderful experience, and you get to learn a lot this way. And if your curriculum has prescribes a lot of projects, then invest some effort in it. I know a lot of people don't take these things seriously, but I think projects are a very good way of learning a lot of technologies which might seem that they're out of reach, and that's how you get practice. And that's what, even when you apply for jobs, I think that's the kind of knowledge that comes into use. And it's not just bookish knowledge. These things are important. I mean, I understand that a lot of people don't go because they think that it's a waste of time, also because they think that it's not related to academics and stuff like that. But these things are very useful, especially when you sit for placements. You realize that that is exactly what you're using. How you program, how well you program, how well you understand the subject matter, that's more important than just learning stuff up. So I mean, I just encourage you to participate in these contests, especially at an undergraduate level. You have the time to do that. At a grad school level, you probably won't have as much time, or when you're in a job, you won't have that much time. So at an undergrad level, it's very important to participate in as many contests as you can, so that you can assess yourself and you can get better and stuff like that. So yeah, that's my message to whoever's listening to this
Yeah,
to the video.
that was a
Yeah.
really nice message. It was really nice
Thank you.
talking to you. Thank you for your
Thank you.
time.
Same here. Same here. Thank you. Thank
Thank
you for
you.
inviting me. Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Good luck. Bye
Good.
bye.